Hi, I'm Chris Loons from Vanderbilt University. I'm here to provide an introduction to the article titled Building a Grad Nation, Progress and Challenges in Ending the High School Dropout Epidemic by Civic Enterprises and Everyone Graduates Center at the School of Education at Johns Hopkins University. So an important note, this is a long document and you are not expected to read all of it. So what I would like you to do is do a quick skim of the executive summary and then read Driver 3, Special Education Students, pages 46 through 53 closely. That's the most important part of this document related to NCLII. In this document, the authors provide an overview of graduation rates of students with disabilities, and the authors highlight differences in outcomes across states, and they highlight specific challenges that are faced by students with disabilities, notably chronic negative misrepresentations and disciplinary disproportionalities. The reason we selected this document is that it provides one data snapshot on the outcomes of students with disabilities. Many of the students described in this document who are not responding well and who do not have positive graduation outcomes are students who are in need of increasingly intensive intervention. This document may serve as one resource that you use in your future work related to the consortium to provide data that the type of work that we're proposing in the consortium, intensive intervention, is necessary. The document may also stimulate thinking on the outcomes or the potential reasons or causes for these poor outcomes and causes for the variability across states and potential ways that intensive intervention may be used to reduce these poor outcomes and the discrepancies. Things for you to consider as you read. These are the guiding questions that are included in the PowerPoint. First of all, I want you to really think about the data. What do these data represent, and what do they indicate to you? So the authors are telling you as a reader what they think the data mean, and I would like you to spend some time thinking about your interpretation of the data, and I want you to reflect on whether you feel these data accurately represent poor outcomes for students with disabilities, and think about whether you have any concern about the data being presented. Number two, I want you to look carefully at Figure 12. It demonstrates a high amount of variability in outcomes across states. And I want you to spend some time thinking about the possible causes for that wide variation in outcomes and thinking about implications for that variability for both your research that you may do in the future and for policy work. Number three, I want you to review the section titled National Challenges on pages 50 and 51. I want you to think whether you agree that these are two of the biggest contributors to poor graduation rates for students with disabilities, and then I want you to consider whether intensive intervention might remediate these challenges. And if you think that intensive intervention could remediate the challenges, think about in what ways. Number four, the authors provide some policy recommendations, and I want you to think about the feasibility of these policy recommendations. Do you think that these are things that we can do something about? And I also want you to think whether changes in those areas would really decrease the discrepancy between students with disabilities and without in terms of graduation rates. And the last question I want you to focus on the case study, which is on pages 52 and 53. And in this case study, the authors provide an argument for limiting the exiting options or graduation options for students with disabilities. And I want you to read the argument closely and consider whether you agree with their rationale and to think about what your policy recommendations would be related to exiting options. Thank you very much. Enjoy the paper.